start the video like right now?
I think you just started right now. Not a 3, 2, 1. No, none of that. Actually, it's not my job.
Do you want to go? You already had it.
Hello, Will. Oh, damn. See, it's not my job.
Pay attention. All right.
How do you...
Bring it from the top.
Okay.
And down. All right. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Heavily Contested Podcast, the podcast where...
I told y'all, man. I told them people, man, don't sleep on them. It's Raider Nation for life.
You done?
Raider Nation, baby.
Okay. Well, an exciting time in the NFL at this current moment. This is the best week of football, as we call it, Week 18.
Oh, yeah.
This is where, basically, it's another extra week of playoff football here. This is win or get in for a lot of teams right here. So this is going to be an exciting time.
First week of the playoffs.
First week of the playoffs, basically. That's what we're going to call it. Now, a great Week 17 to start off with last week. Now, there's one game that I want to talk about that was the big standout, I think, of the week. The Bengals hosted the Chiefs and beat them at home. The Cincinnati Bengals proving that they're not only a playoff team, as they just clinched the AFC North with that win, but that they're possibly contenders. Contenders to the throne.
Yeah.
How do you look at this game, Travis?
Man, the Chiefs were one of the hottest teams in the league.
Yep. Biggest win streak right now going into that game.
They have huge firepower on their offense.
Yep. They discovered their offense again.
Yep. Travis Kelce was dominating. Mm-hmm. Tyreek Hill was still being the fastest guy in the league. But,
yeah.
You know, he hasn't been amazing.
He hasn't been as productive as he's been in past seasons, but
Travis Kelce's going off, so that's probably why.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes stopped throwing as many interceptions.
Yep.
So
much more careful with the football.
Yeah, it was a little scary. And then the Bengals said, remember that Rookie of the Year that we was talking about?
Yeah.
Can we stop talking about Mac Jones?
Yep.
Mac Jones is not a factor anymore. After the game that he had, he caught a ball that it was supposed to be like a 10-yard catch.
Yep, that's my favorite one.
It was supposed to be a 10-yard catch. Broke back inside and dusted the corner and the safety.
Yeah. No. Here's the thing about Jamar Chase is who he was talking about for the Rookie of the Year. First of all, to go to Travis's point, he deserves Rookie of the Year. He deserves Rookie of the Year because of the fact that while Mac Jones has had a great season, Jamar Chase has had a record-breaking season.
Yep.
Now, with the most receiving yards in a single game for a rookie and the most receiving yards in a single season, beating Jefferson's record that was just put last year. Mm-hmm. So also, I want to state that this shows that this LSU team in 2019 was no joke when you have Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, and Joe Shiesty throwing to them.
And they had Clyde Edwards-Helaire too.
No, it was a great team, that LSU team, and we're starting to really show now why they were so dominant in their year of college. But I think this game showed me that the Bengals clearly have the best receiving core in the NFL.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
When you have a guy like Jamar Chase who is not only big and can make great contested catches, but is quick and can stop on a dime, change of direction, which we've seen in a couple plays already this season.
And he's faster than you,
and he's faster than most safeties out there. Safeties had the angle on him on that play, and he still outran him. He is fast. Then you have T. Higgins. T. Higgins, a great second-year receiver who is able with speed and can make great contested catches. And then you have the veteran Tyler Boyd, who has been underrated a lot most of his career, but he's been a 1,000-yard receiver throughout.
Yeah.
And then you have Joe Burrow at the helm, Joe Mixon at the running back spot. This offense is dangerous. And credit to the coach, Zach Taylor, because he is doing a great job. Obviously, they made the right move going with a McVay guy, a guy who's been in McVay's system as the coach. This offense is rolling right now.
Yeah, it's very scary because, I thought that they should have got a lineman. I've said that before. Mm-hmm. But sometimes, we talked about it, you just got to get the guy. Yeah. Get the best guy on the board.
Get the best guy on the board.
And he looks like he was the best draft pick so far.
Oh, yeah. And the thing about Jamar Chase is that he had the connection with Joe Burrow.
Yeah, so that's why he didn't have to work out with him in the offseason. They already know.
Because in the end, if you were looking at the best guy on the board, statistically, it probably would have been Devontae Smith.
Yep.
But they knew the connection, the chemistry that was already there between Jamar and Joe Burrow. You know? It's surprising, to say the least. And I remember I said it plenty of times that don't fall for this trick. I never thought the Bengals were legit. I'm sorry. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I really did not expect. I thought this was a team that was showing promise, but wasn't gonna. I feel like this is a team that's doing so well a year before they even really hit stride.
Yeah,
they're ahead of their time. I feel like.
Yeah. Also, it's not like the Chiefs didn't lose this game.
No.
I'm sorry, the Chiefs didn't lose this game, but the Bengals definitely won. They also have some players on defense stepping it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about it early in the season how we only would know Cheeto because he's in San
Cheeto
Jose.
Bay, and then Bates, a couple other guys.
He's actually a top PFF rated corner.
Yeah. Cheeto Bay has found a home in Cincinnati.
He's not the bad corner that I thought the average corner.
The other one that's a surprise, Eli Apple.
Who's
a corner who's been, basic. He's been hated on his whole entire career because he has played poorly on many teams, but these players have found a home in Cincinnati, and that has to go credit to the defensive coordinator as well. And then these players, Trey Hendrickson, Jesse Bates. Jesse Bates. These are great players, young players. This is a very strong young team, and I don't think the Chiefs lost this game. This is the Chiefs had one of their worst defensive outings in a while. The thing is this Chiefs defenses look great, and they look good early on.
Yeah, I mean, but when you're guarding Jamar Chase,
it's a hard offense to stop.
Yeah, because they can run on you, and they can also pass.
And they can also pass on you. So it makes the Bengals look a lot more dangerous. And where this shakes up the playoff picture is that Cincinnati now clinched the division. Remember when we said, who do we think is going to win this AFC North by the end of it? I predicted the Bengals.
I think I predicted the Ravens.
Yes, the Ravens.
I thought Lamar was going to come back.
And that's the thing. That's not a bad pick. It's just Lamar has not come back. But the Bengals did their job. They quite literally won out to win this division. So that puts them at the 3 seed. Kansas City now drops to the 2 seed. Who takes the top spot, Travis? You can let me know if you do know.
I do know. Is it the Derrick Henrys?
It's the Tennessee Derrick Henrys.
And Derrick Henry is actually practicing this week.
And is returning from IR. So Tennessee now looks like they have a great position right now to make a run to this Super Bowl. Because not only they played the Texans this last week. All they have to do is win, and they get the 1 seed. Then you give yourself a bye week. And you know who else you get, probably from the bye? Julio Jones. You get a chance to get Julio Jones rested and healthy.
Julio's going to play like 5 snaps and get injured.
Derrick Henry comes back extra rested and healthy with the bye week. This is a Tennessee Titans team that you don't want to get healthy.
And they're going to get healthy.
And they're going to get healthy. Because they should if they do their job and win against the Texans, then it's look out for Tennessee. Because this AFC is wide open.
It is.
I don't see
there's no clear
alpha
person that's going to take it.
Yes.
Now the biggest people are probably the Bengals, the Chiefs,
Titans.
and now the Titans.
And don't forget the Patriots and Buffalo. Showing inconsistencies, but they've also showed very good highs and very low lows. So again, those are teams that, let's see what shows up in the playoffs. Actually, every team, though. The Colts, too, have caught rhythm. Then they beat the Patriots. They beat the Cardinals in Arizona. The Colts show promise. The Chargers show promise. And let's transition this to the other team. The Raiders are showing promise now, actually beating the Colts.
Oh, yeah, let's flip this back.
Go ahead. You want to?
Guys, I've been telling these people since the beginning. 4 weeks ago. Joe, you remember you thought I was crazy. Didn't you think I was crazy?
I mean, it's not out of the question yet, though.
I mean, I'm not 100% right all the way. Let's pull the horses back. We still got 1 more week.
Hey, pull the reins a little bit. Slow down there.
The first 2 games we kind of got bailed out a little bit. First game we had a quarterback injured. Mm-hmm. The whole team was kind of gone.
Yeah.
Then the next game we played against the Broncos. Their quarterbacks were gone too, but would they have done anything? No. This game, first game where they extended the week, they allowed Carson Wentz to play. Mm-hmm. The Raiders had it on lock though. No, the Raiders, man, he threw a deep pass. It was supposed to get intercepted. Went out of both of their hands. T.Y. Hilton caught a touchdown.
Yeah.
So
pure luck play.
I mean, so it kind of shows how the Colts were in the game in the first place. Jonathan Taylor still is going
Shows
crazy.
the Raiders' weakness too is still that DB position a little bit.
They still did not make plays when they needed to. But Jonathan Taylor still went off. This was the first game where Jonathan Taylor rushed for over 100 yards, and they lost the game. Derek Carr also being trash. You're gone next year. It's great that you won us the game. In the end, Hunter Renfrow came through for us.
I actually have to give credit to Derek Carr too, and Hunter Renfrow. Yeah. First of all, Zay Jones too.
Zay Jones,
actually, he's been a receiver that's stepped up now in a position where the Raiders have been lacking receiver depth. Darren Waller's still
injured.
Still injured, right? So guys like Zay Jones stepping up. Hunter Renfrow, who has a 1,000-yard season now out of a slot position.
Yeah.
He deserves a lot of credit for what he's doing as a slot receiver. And he's been very underrated even throughout his college career of like how much production he really gets. Yeah. Because no matter who his quarterback was, he was always producing. He's just still, people judged him by the measurables, but they don't realize how good of a slot receiver.
He doesn't look like an NFL player.
Exactly. But how good of a slot receiver he really is as a route runner and just sure-handed receiver.
Yeah.
Zay Jones deserves credit. And Derek Carr deserves credit for how he finished the game.
Yeah.
Now again, he made another questionable pick. It's those questionable throws. It's decision making.
Man, what are you doing?
Yes, it's pure decision making issues where he forces it into double coverage, or he lets the pressure get to him a little bit, so he just kind of throws it up for grabs. It's plays like that can hurt your team.
Yeah.
But what he did do by the end of the game, and I want to give credit, is that he did lead this team down the field to win that game.
And that was a great throw by him. At the end of the game, he dodged Darius Leonard, one of the best linebackers in the league.
Dodged the sack to get that throw off.
Lobbed it up. Hunter Renfrow made the play. Could have scored a touchdown. We thought he did, but he didn't. And it's good that he didn't because we ended with the best kicker that we've had in a long time since Sebastian Janikowski.
A couple game winners already under his belt now. This season.
Appreciate you, Daniel Carlson.
Yeah.
And the Raiders, all they got to do is win this next game. And we 100% are in the playoffs.
And 100% in. Win and get in. But it's not as easy as it seems because who they play is a team that's had their number, but a team that is also either going to come out and play
amazing
bottom tier football, or quite literally, I would say when they're on point, I think they play like a top 3 team in the NFL. And that, who I'm talking about, is the LA Chargers.
Yeah.
And that's going to be an interesting game. And we'll get into that. But we want to still cover over some Week 17 happenings and games that have happened. So, talk about happenings. This isn't even about a game. This is just a fiasco. Antonio Brown left the field. Third quarter, and it wasn't just walking out with his pads or anything. He went all in, took off the pads, took off the shirt, and just started streaking across the field. Not fully streaking, but didn't have his shirt on, just started running across the field. Now, it's an interesting situation that I feel like I don't know enough of yet to make a full judgment on, because of the fact that now we're hearing that Antonio Brown's actions were somewhat justified in his anger. And he was injured, and that the coaches tried to force him to get into the game, and that they took they made him take a painkiller that wasn't recommended by the NFL. Apparently there were some dirty doings happening in the Buccaneers locker room from the coaching staff and the medical staff. Then on the other hand, we're hearing the other story that it was just Antonio Brown just not wanting to do it and just being a diva. I can't really say what side I believe. I don't want to say that. I don't want to totally shut out Antonio Brown either. I don't. I really don't. I don't want to just go to the fact that, he's full-blown crazy. I also don't want to just completely jump to conclusions on that the NFL and the Buccaneers coaching staff, them specifically, were doing some dirty deeds. I just feel like I need to hear more from it.
Yeah. If you want to talk about the game part, the Bucs were about to lose to the Jets.
Yes.
So when I first saw AB throw his pads off, I thought that the whole team was just mad at everybody.
Yeah, I thought it was the game.
Yeah, because they were about to lose to the Jets.
Zach Wilson played a good game.
Yeah, but after I saw that everybody else was kind of trying to calm Antonio Brown down, it kind of started to seem like, okay, this is similar to what he did on the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
This is similar to what he did early on the Patriots
Yes,
as well.
it's
very hard to even believe the words that Antonio Brown says.
Sometimes.
Because of his past.
His past. And it doesn't give him much credibility.
Yeah,
is what I would say.
because you've been a diva in the past. You talked down on Juju Smith-Schuster.
Who's a guy who had your back.
Yeah, who looked up to him,
Looked
and
up
then
to him.
basically he's just calling him out for looking up to him. Makes no sense. He even said that Big Ben is not going to retire.
Yeah.
And we just seen Big Ben's obviously retire.
Well, yeah, we've seen his obviously his emotional last game. So the thing is, we just don't know what to believe. But I do, like, if you want to talk about the game, there's one thing that I have to say. The Jets somehow managed to jet again.
They were winning the game.
They were winning the game. They went for it to try to finish the game off. So the Bucs still start with the ball inside their own 10, I believe. And they had no timeouts. With only a minute 20. And somehow the Jets lose this game. They had a 4-point lead. The Bucs needed a touchdown to win. And you lose this game. It was just the most Jet way to lose I've seen in a long time. Actually, not a long time. We just seen it last year.
Yeah.
We just seen it last year. The Jets are going to be the Jets, man. It was concerning for the Bucs, though.
Yeah, because there's no reason why you should be the talent level that the Bucs have compared to the Jets. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care if you're distracted by AB.
At this point in the season, that cannot happen. And that was even with AB in at the beginning, too.
Yeah.
And they were struggling. Thing is, too, for this Bucs team, yes, they are dangerous. Tom Brady in the playoffs, always dangerous. But those injuries are hurting them a lot more than we might be thinking. Yeah. Because no Chris Godwin, Gronkowski is in and out right now, riddled with injuries again.
Injured his whole career.
He had a great season last year where he wasn't injured. Now he's riddled again with injuries. Tom Brady has been struggling a little bit these past few games. And while the statistics show that Tom Brady had a great game, I didn't see a Tom Brady-esque game from Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, is only having Mike Evans as the one option could be the reason for that struggling.
Yeah, Mike Evans is not... Yes, the type of player that Mike Evans is, he's not an open receiver.
No.
He's a aggressive catch, lob it up to a receiver. Yeah. He's not really going to have separation.
No.
So that's a big issue, losing Antonio Brown.
And Chris Godwin, who's probably one of their best route runners as well.
Antonio Brown adds a huge aspect in the fact that he can run deep, he can be in the slot, route runner. He has a lot of things.
He can do it all.
It kind of sucks that I believe this is the last game we'll ever see from Antonio Brown. Because he's been on so many different teams, and every single team
hasn't worked out.
It's been drama. It's not even that he's leaving because he's not good enough or...
Yeah, and even if we find out that this is the Bucs' fault, I still don't think teams are going to take that risk of going with them. And obviously, he's not going to go back to the Bucs.
Yeah, it's an Earl Thomas situation. So talented, but because of the drama, he can't be on the team anymore.
Can't be on the team anymore.
But also, Bruce Arians, I did see that he's been forcing people to play through injuries for many years now.
So then, again, that's where you can believe Antonio Brown's side a little bit with this story. So I want to hear more about it. If I could say, I'm very neutral in this stance right now, but evidence is showing to both sides a little bit. So I definitely look to see more on that whole situation as it unfolds. Now, one more game I want to talk about. The 49ers. It's not a crazy game. We only played the Texans, but what was big about this game was that
Jimmy Garoppolo did not play.
Now, we couldn't film an episode last week on New Year's week. Yeah. Thankfully, because you would have, it would have just been me just trashing Garoppolo because of how horrible he played that game. The problem with Garoppolo is, and he was doing it so good for a couple games, is all you have to do is be a game manager with this team.
You have a great running attack.
Running attack.
Great yak from your receivers.
Exactly. You can't make mistakes, and Garoppolo made so many key mistakes. An interception in the end zone that would put the Niners at 14. I'm sorry, I'm on week 16 here. I'm sorry, I just had to. But there was just so much about Garoppolo that really angered me about that performance. So turns out Garoppolo apparently had some damage done in his throwing hand. So we brought in Trey Lance. Now, how did Trey Lance play? This is his second NFL start now. He had time to work with the first team. He's had a little more growth now in the NFL. I'd give his performance a solid B.
Yeah, I give him a
And I think it was a very solid performance. Now, the first half was definitely very suspect.
Yeah, he had some questionable throws.
And it wasn't just that. It was, he just felt a little
He was
psyched out, uncomfortable. So, what happened is that in the second half, a drastic change in performance.
They made adjustments.
He was throwing with anticipation. Thing about Trey Lance, too, is he stretches the field a lot more. I remember they were showing a graph on Garoppolo versus Trey Lance completions, where they were. Garoppolo, quite literally, I've seen most of his stats, are all inside the hash marks. Trey Lance, you got one that goes deep, which is the deep one to Deebo Samuel. A lot of out routes. Slants, he's doing it all. He's stretching it out, and that's what we need from this offense. Because the problem with this offense is it's short to medium passing wise, and we don't have a deep attack to keep those safeties, keep them honest. Trey Lance brought that out this Sunday. Now, it was the Texans, but I have to say, seeing this from a rookie who hasn't had much even college experience and shows a lot of promise and potential, this was a game that I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And this is very good. It showed promise. Now, will he continue to finish out the rest of the season for us? Me personally, I hope so. Because I'm at a point this season where I don't think this team is going to make a Super Bowl run with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
We're better off trying to get into the playoffs with Trey Lance and get him experience.
Early, yeah. But most likely the Niners, they don't have the mentality, we're not making it to the Super Bowl.
No.
So they're probably going to play Jimmy Garoppolo.
Thing is, too, is how big of an upgrade is Jimmy Garoppolo truly? And that's the next question that we have to look at. But they're probably not looking at that.
I think the easiest thing about being on the Niners is the fact that, for one, George Kittle is great yards out to catch. Mm-hmm. The Deebo is going to get separation. On that deep throw, yes, there's two defenders right here. Yeah. And he's like nowhere near both of them.
Nope.
So Trey Lance's job is not that difficult.
It's not that difficult. It's easy for a rookie to get into the system.
Yeah.
And Deebo Samuel breaks tackles like nothing. And then you got Brandon Ayuk, who's actually really coming into his own. Yeah. Had the most receiving yards this past game, too.
So I do think that Trey Lance can easily mesh in this Niners role because he does not have to do too much.
And he brings a lot more. Yeah. My only thing is I want to see Kyle Shanahan do this next week. Bring in 100% of the playbook with Trey Lance.
Yeah, I want to see some read options more. I want to see some stuff. I want to see some old Cam Newton stuff.
Well, you know what? They did do that. They did, but not like a lot, but they did do it. My problem is this offense looks very different than when Garoppolo's at the helm. And what I mean by that is they completely feels like Shanahan takes a step back in how creative he gets with Trey Lance. Now, yes, he's a rookie. You want to usher him in a lot more easier into the league, but doing that doesn't help, and it doesn't help this team at all. If you're going to go in with Trey Lance, go all in, give him full reins to the offense, and just see what happens. At this point, it's all experience. That's what we need from this team, and then we hope in the coming years he'll be the guy to help lead this team possibly to a Super Bowl, But we need to make sure, yeah, I said it, I don't care. We need to make sure that he's fully comfortable with this entire offense that Shanahan provides. So we'll see this week if Trey Lance plays or if it's Jimmy Garoppolo. Now it's a much tougher opponent in the Rams. So if it is Trey Lance playing, it's a much bigger challenge. And it's a must-win game for the Niners. So we will see how that one goes. Now, one more thing that I had to cover about Week 17, and this isn't about any big game. I just want to mention, we have a possible record-breaking season as well. TJ Watt had 4 sacks this last game against Cleveland. He is now at 21.5 sacks on the season, despite missing 2 games. So you can't even say it was because of the 17-game season that he might break this record. Michael Strahan's record's 22.5. TJ Watt's at 21.5. I think it's extremely likely that TJ Watt, this upcoming Sunday, breaks Strahan's record and then totally secures his spot as Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of weird because, he was injured. He's not going to play 17 games, but it is in Week 18. So obviously there's going to be a lot of records from now. Cooper Kupp also can break the record.
Yeah,
as well.
100. something, 160 yards.
Yeah, so it's gonna be a little weird now because players still do miss games. I don't know if there's gonna be asterisks on old ones or new ones, but the fact that T.J. Watt is even close to this record says a lot. He's Defensive Player of the Year, and he definitely deserves it. The only person to ever, other person to do this in 2 seasons is the other Watt brother,
J.J. Watt.
And
mind you, yes, T.J. Watt has now won Defensive Player of the Year a couple years. I still stand by the fact that T.J. Watt should not have won Defensive Player of the Year last year. It was a correct decision going to Aaron Donald because people need to understand that it's much different for an interior lineman to get double-digit sacks than it is for T.J. Watt. This year, though, just because of the year Aaron Donald's having where it's not as productive as previous Aaron Donald seasons, and T.J. Watt is having a record-breaking season, this definitely shows that T.J. Watt is the best defensive player so far this season.
Yeah.
So, we'll see.
Also, I have to touch on this part. They pulled up a graphic showing all the Defensive Player of the Years. 2 Cowboys players are in the talks, Michael Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. The craziest thing is that Michael Parsons is a rookie.
Yeah.
And he has a chance to win Defensive Player of the Year.
And Diggs is a second-year corner.
So yeah, that's just a huge thing to me. I was so amazed by that.
Gotta give credit to the Cowboys. A lot of hope for this team. Now, they had a rough loss against the Cardinals. This offense has some figuring out to do right now.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it goes for the Cowboys.